back again. I'm about to do my morning walk again. This is my second video doing the trailer park morning walk edition. And it's a little bit later than it was the other day. The sun done already rised right there. It's cool out here, that's why I got this hoodie on. I know after you hear this video, you're gonna probably try to connect the dots and try to say that I'm looking like I'm the Grim Reaper. But I wanna make a video that will cause you to think about what you believe and think about the things you say and how you are in this world. Now, the title of this video is You Don't Need God. Now, a lot of people that don't have the spiritual ear, the ear of God, will probably hear that and either turn this video off or just automatically assume that I'm in error with what I say. All because of what you believe and what you think about God and just life in general. And the reason why I say you don't need God is because God is already here. We treat God as if God is disconnected or somewhere up in the sky or somewhere. Like we think we know where God is, but how do you know where God is? Most of us have a religion where we created our own versions of what God is, who God is, and how to worship and connect with God. Most people idea of what God is and who God is and how you're supposed to worship God come from somebody's idea. It come from a belief system. It come from a religion. Religions come from men. And we say that we believe in God. We say that God is the almighty, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the omnipotent, meaning that he's everywhere all the time. But how come we keep on saying we need a God that we already got? If God created you and you created in the image of God, then that means that there's nothing that we can do to not have God, because God is going to exist because God is. See, what happened is men and people create their own version of God. Every religion, every person, everybody in the whole wide world got their own idea of what God is. So we create our own gods in our mind. But there's only one God, and that God that one God is a God that nobody knows, because God can't be seen. But what happened? Human beings have created their own images of God. It's like we always have a tendency to describe God as a human. when God is not human. God is spirit. God can't be seen. God can't be understood. He's the creator of all things. He was here before us. So he created everything when nothing even was even in existence. Everything about God is a mystery. God shows us glimpses of what it is and how it is by giving us proof that there's something that we call God that created us, that allows us to exist on this planet. But where human beings make a mistake at is when they try to put and place God in different boxes, different categories, different religions. So now your idea of God becomes limited. So why, think about it. If you're a believer, and if you believe in God, or if you have a religion that believes in God, why is it that you keep putting limitations on God? If you know that God you can't see God, or you can't fully know God, why do we keep on calling God our doctor? Why do we keep calling God our lawyer? Why do we keep calling God our husband? That's like calling a mechanic a barber, or calling a barber a beautician. We got to stop giving God all these different names and putting them in different categories and calling God a him, because God is not human. We are a part of God. We are God's creation. Just like the animals, just like the trees, just like the sun, just like the whole universe. It's all God's creation. And we as human beings, we're the only people that see ourselves disconnected from God, because we're always saying that we need God, as if God is not already here. God is here, in the good and the bad. No matter what you're going through, no matter what type of lifestyle you're in, God is always there. It's not a matter of you not having God or God not being there. It's just a matter of you not being aware. Most of us walk around every day not even aware. We let our fears control us. We let the things we hear on TV control us. We let the things that the preacher in the church taught us control us. So now we walk around putting categories and boxes on what God is, but God is everything and everywhere. And we don't even acknowledge that. We'll sit around and debate and argue about what God is. And we get offensive when somebody else's idea of what God is don't line up with what your idea is. We fight and we offend and we defend religions, and we fight in wars, and we have wars in our own houses because of books that other men wrote that had ideas of what God is, and you never came up with your own idea of what God is. Most people don't even think about what they believe. They just believe what they believe, and they're either going to stick to it or they're going to keep on seeking understanding. But if you believe that God can't be understood and God is invisible, you can't see God, and God is the power that we can't see that gives and breathes life to everything, then you really shouldn't be putting God in a box. You really shouldn't be saying that you know God. You really shouldn't be saying that you're better than somebody else. Because everything is a creation of God. We say things like God is angry. God is happy. We give God emotions and feelings as if God is just a straight up flawed human. But God is the creator is not just a human. We read scriptures, we read the Bible, and we interpret them the same way somebody else interpret them, because your understanding comes from how you were taught. Will you question how you were taught? Will you think about the things that you so-called understand? Most people don't. And that's why we live our lives unfulfilled, unhappy, because we put God in a box and we continue to live the rest of our lives messed up, and we can't find a way to solve our problems and overcome things. It's all because we don't understand who we are and what we are. And we try to make God into what we think God is. That's why we always say, the God I serve, it's only one God. It's only one God. And you don't completely know him. You don't completely know it. All you know about God is what somebody told you about God. But what has God personally told you? What have you discovered for yourself about God? Not about your religion, not about the book, not about the Bible that you read, but what do you personally know about God? And then the problem with people is they think they know everything about God because they read their Bible or they have a particular religion. You don't know everything. Life is a discovery. When you're born, it's up to you to discover what it is that you need to do with yourself to have a happy life, to have a fruitful life, to have a life where you're surviving and living and thriving. Human beings are the only thing on this earth that put God in a box. When these birds and animals are born, they're born into God's creation. They're part of God's creation. They don't have to sit and debate about what God is, who God is. And at the same time, they don't starve. They don't starve. They wake up every day and there's food everywhere. They don't have to go and work and slave and do something that they don't want to do for a living. They don't have to pay a mortgage. They don't have to wait until somebody give them anything. They don't have to beg. But people, we begging. We working. We barely making it. We're doing things that we shouldn't be doing. And then we're judging people because they're not doing the same things that we're doing. Or we think we're better than somebody else just because we got a little bit of more money than another person or a better job than the other person, quote unquote. We like to put everything in categories, including God. So my question to you, or my challenge to you is to challenge your thoughts, challenge your beliefs. And ask yourself, are you putting God in a box? Do you think you know God like that? If you do a lot of people think they know God like that, right? They think they better than other people, or they think they on the right track, right? All because of the religion or a book or a belief. That's what you believe. That's what you believe. But how does your belief help other people? The animals, they be living in harmony. They don't have all the distractions that we got. They get up early in the morning, watch the sunrise, watch that water do what the water do. The cats, they get up, same thing. They do their thing. We get up, rise and grind. Rise and grind, trying to figure out everything. We create our pride, we create our egos. We get programmed every single day. And we live our life as if God is not already here. We live our life like God is not here. We always saying, I need you right now. But God is already here. God created you. You feel a lack because of how you believe. You feel a lack because you put God in a box. You feel a lack because you've skipped all the small little details that cause you to feel like you have a lack or you have a problem in your life. You skipped all the small details and just went straight to God. That's why you're not fulfilled. You created a God in your mind, or somebody else created a God in their mind, and you took on the identity, or you believed in the same God that somebody else created. Somebody else gave your God its identity. And you haven't questioned that. You have not ever questioned, why do you believe that God is what God is? Most people, identity or idea of what God is it comes from someone else, another man. That's why you keep on calling God all these worldly things, like he has feelings and emotions. Why would a God that knows everything ever be angry? You get angry when things don't go your way, but if you get angry when things don't go your way. You hope that things go your way, but they don't go your way, right? That's when you become angry, when things don't go your way. So when we say that God is angry, then that's the same thing as saying that things are not going God's way. So if you believe that God is the God of creation and God knows everything, then why would he ever be angry? Why would he ever be happy? Why would God even have an emotion if you were God? God is not, we keep on making God into a human. God is not a human. Can't be. We don't know what God is. We just know God is. And when we read things literal. We don't hear the parables. We don't hear what it's saying. When God says, I am that I am, he's just basically saying that I'm who I am, and that's all you need to know. Everything else is for you to discover. If I gave you all the secrets, then then I won't be the master. But we trying to figure out all the secrets. We think we know it all because we pick up a book or a religion. And then we try to take God's place by judging people or thinking that we know everything or got all the answers just because we read a book or we adapted a religion. We don't even think about the things that we think about. And that's why you don't need God, because God is already here. Stop thinking that God is not here. Stop looking at God as a human being. God is not a human being. He don't get angry. He don't get happy. He don't be sad. That's what humans do. This is a human's idea of what God is. And this is why you keep going through your crazy emotions, crazy feelings, crazy mental blockages, because you've created a God that is a human. And even though you gave him these human characteristics, you still don't know God. Because God can't be seen. It's not in the flesh. God is spirit. And that's why this video's title is, You Don't Need God. That's what it is. I know it sounds weird, but right now, it's breaking the chains on your brain. You're about to be set free from some things. Maybe. But if your pride and your ego is in a way, and you're proud about, because you think you know everything, because you've adapted someone else's idea of what God is, then you're going to be deaf to what I'm saying. You're not going to understand what I'm saying. And you're going to go ahead and put God in a box. And you have this idea that God is watching. God got his hands in his arm. God don't have hands and arms if God is God. We have hands and arms. We're created by God. But God is not a human. We are. We the flawed ones. We the ones that create our own ideas of what everything is around us. We're the ones that cause the angers and the pressures and the struggles of the world. We do. Not God. So think about what you think about. And I'm out. Double OG, Truth Seeker, aka Lionheart. Rawr.